you get presented with on equal merits, like a white person and a black person or whatever.
Yeah, we're going with the black person.
Yeah, no matter what. Really.
Yeah, no matter what.
Yeah.
An HR director for a California charter school says that in choosing between a white and black applicant, he'll choose a black applicant no matter what. No matter what is not only a violation of California state law, but also the school's own policy. The HR director for Summit Public Schools continues to tell our journalists they look specifically for transgendered people and people of color to teach the school children.
If it's a person of color, great. If it's a trans teacher, great. You know? And so I think it's just culturally, we just naturally look for those folks.
We asked Jonathan Ferrer, the HR director from Summit Public Schools, if he would hire a conservative person or a MAGA person. Ferrer says the school would avoid hiring any MAGA people.
You're hiring like MAGA people for staff sometimes if it just happens, you know what I mean?
I don't think we would.
Like in Nevada.
Like, I don't think we would. Oh my God, I'm talking way too much. I'm feeling so bad. I feel like I'm talking your ear off. I'm talking way too much.
No.
HR director for a California charter school says that in choosing between a white and black applicant, he'll choose a black applicant no matter what. Ferrer's statement that he will hire the candidate on the basis of race alone, no matter what, is not only a violation of California state law, but also the school's own policy, which states, quote, "It is the policy of Summit Public Schools that no person shall be subject to discrimination on the basis of disability, gender, gender identity, gender expression, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic that is contained in the definition of hate crime set forth in Section 42255 of the Penal Code, including immigration status." Jonathan Ferrer is an HR director for a charter school district located in the Bay Area just outside of San Francisco. Ferrer describes his position of HR director as a role that handles the school's LGBTQ and DEI protocols. Ferrer also tells us that he is put in charge of layoffs, that he facilitates LGBTQ gender wellness training, whatever that means.
I'm director of human resources for a school district.
Entire district, wow.
Entire district.
And the district spans from Northern California to Washington, or?
Northern California and Washington. We have 4 schools in Washington, 3 schools in Washington now, and then we have 10 schools in the Bay Area.
So what does an HR director for a school district entail?
Dealing a lot with like training, making sure our principals and our teachers are trained. I lead our DEI efforts in the district, so we have like LGBTQIA plus like gender wellness training on Thursdays, so I facilitated that.
Deal directly with students and teachers? Students
and teachers, yeah.
Our undercover journalist met Jonathan Ferrer for a first date, and Ferrer proudly confessed to engaging in discriminatory hiring practices. The HR director admitted that when the school district is presented with 2 equally merited candidates, one white and one black person, that he would hire the black person entirely based upon their race. Quote, "We're going with the black person, no matter what."
So you also want a diverse staff because you get more federal funding?
I think federal and state
or state funding. So you guys want a diverse environment, which I completely understand. I value that as well. Does that mean at a certain point you just aren't looking for a certain type of person?
With the exception, I'll say what we do look for, like dynamics. Like, for example, if the English department is all male, right? All white male. You know, maybe we'll want to add a person of color, like somewhere like in the mix.
Well, certainly in that situation like you described, where it's all one type of person, and then you get presented with on equal merits, like a white person and a black person or whatever.
Yeah, we're going with the black person.
Yeah.
Majority of the teaching staff, even in California, are white females. And that's just how it goes. And so whenever there's a qualified candidate and they happen to identify differently or present differently, we're probably going with that person.
Right. No matter what. Really.
Yeah, no matter what. Yeah. Sorry to say that, but that's really how it goes down sometimes.
That's what DEI is all about, right?
Yeah.
After experiencing 4 years of a volatile economy, America is facing record inflation and a massive threat to the U.S. dollar. Experts are warning the stock market could crash and we could be facing a recession. In these uncertain times, I recommend gold to my audience, and I trust Fisher Capital as my official gold partner. Not only have my friends at Fisher delivered hundreds of millions of dollars in gold to their clients, they have also proven to be vigilant and right on the front line, supporting causes that make our country stronger and better. Fisher Capital is the largest corporate partner for Turning Point USA. Close friends of OMG, we appear at their events every December and continues to make sure the new administration is successful. Based on my experience and client testimonials, the team at Fisher Capital consists of some of the most caring and compassionate individuals in finance today. And when you click the link, you will qualify for an exclusive offer only available to my listeners, where you can get up to $20,000 of free silver with your qualifying purchase. When you speak with Fisher, make sure to mention that James O'Keefe sent you. Our portfolios are too important to trust to stocks and bonds alone. Protect yourself with gold today and get it from Fisher Capital. Go to FisherOMG.com. That's FisherOMG.com, FisherOMG.com. Now, what Jonathan Ferrer is admitting to here is actually a violation of California state law. According to the California Fair Employment and Housing Act, that's FEHA as the acronym, employers are prohibited from discriminating against candidates based upon race or skin color. The Summit Public Schools director openly admits that the school district will either disqualify or employ a candidate based upon their skin color alone. This is a violation of California labor law. Ironically, it is also a direct policy of the Summit Public Schools policy that no person shall be discriminated against on the basis of their race. The HR director for Summit Public Schools continues to tell our journalists they look specifically for transgendered people and people of color to teach the school children. Ferrer says, quote, "We just naturally look for these folks."
Who do we feel is best for kids right now in the context of that school site or that classroom? So if it's a person of color, great. If it's a trans teacher, great. You know?
Now, do you guys, since you do have a DEI program, have certain quotas that you have to hit for different types of people?
So obviously we have a lot of kids that identify as LGBTQ, maybe even trans. So we have one trans teacher in our district. And so I think it's just culturally, we just naturally look for those folks.
We asked Jonathan Ferrer, the HR director from Summit Public Schools, if he would hire a conservative person or a MAGA person. Ferrer says the school would avoid hiring any MAGA people. He also reveals that the school has DEI questions baked into their hiring process, which will allow Summit Public Schools to cut out certain candidates who are not politically aligned.
So that means you're hiring like MAGA people for staff sometimes if it just happens, you know what I mean?
I don't think we would.
Like in Nevada.
Like, I don't think we would.
Well, I would think someone in your position who is sensitive to issues like LGBTQ issues and things like that would know the kind of person who might be toxic to be a teacher for students.
Yeah, I think that comes out in an interview.
And would try to kind of weed that person out.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes out of the interview. We do have DEI questions built into our selection process, so how they respond to that. And we have a rubric of, obviously, if they say any of these things, this is not someone who's answering the question the way we're aligned
like
to
what are
answering
those
the question. Like, for example, like a scenario-based question where a student talks about a different political value, you know, than you do. How do you respond to that student? So if the candidate or the teacher is like, well, I want to make sure that they learn about conservative values, blah, 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 etc. And if they say that during the interview, that's probably not what we are looking for. So I'd say things like that.
In recent months, many of our fellow Americans experienced unprecedented natural disasters and damaged infrastructure, making access to healthcare essentials impossible at the very moment it was needed. When disaster strikes, being prepared is your best defense. And now I'm excited to share with you the brand new Field Emergency Kit from our friends at the Wellness Company. The ultimate survival kit for any situation where medical help is not an option. Inside this rugged, waterproof case, you'll find essential medications that cover over 60 conditions that you can encounter, along with a detailed 85-page doctor-written guidebook. This ultimate kit includes amoxicillin, an essential for treating bacterial infections, and antivirals and antiparasitics like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, medications that are critical in situations where you're exposed to respiratory viruses or parasites. And for those facing potentially life-threatening allergic reactions, the field kit includes epinephrine, the generic EpiPen, along with vital first aid supplies such as tourniquet and wound and burn treatments. Natural disasters are happening at record rates, so I urge everyone to get the ultimate field emergency kit from our friends and supporters at the Wellness Company by going to twc.health/OMG, twc.health/OMG, that's twc.health/OMG. And now you can save 15% just by using code OMG at checkout. Reach out to us via our tip line, tips@o'keefemediagroup.com, or send us a message on Signal, 914-491-9395, and one of our journalists will get back to you. Thank you, and stay tuned.